Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Black Voices Today Confidential podcast, also Raquel Produces podcast. Thank you for tuning in. You are greatly appreciated. So, let's get into today's topic. It comes from an incident that happened last week and has happened before, and I know it's happened probably to many of you ladies who are listening, and probably some of you gents who may be listening. When we ignore our own gut and our own boundaries, particularly when people just slide into our DMs or approach us out of the blue. Now, normally, we may be pretty strong, for lack of a better word, pretty guarded, or we have boundaries that are firm, set in place. We've learned to say no. We no longer people please. But something happens when someone out of the blue either pays attention to us or meanders their way into our social media DMs. And we can put on either the nice face or the nice voice. We don't want to just be rude, and you never know, could be perfectly nice person. And so we let those guards and those boundaries down. Or let me speak for myself. I let that boundary down and nothing horrible happened, but it was just someone that sent me a message and it was, "You're beautiful," and that doesn't catch me. I don't need to hear that. I don't need to see it in my DMs. And I was like, "Thanks." And they wanted to see if they could talk to me or they didn't mind meeting me or something. And I said, "Well, I don't mind meeting new people." Mind you, I hate it when people slide into my DMs like that. I hate it. And it may not bother some of you ladies. It may be perfectly fine, and I can't really pinpoint or tell you why. It irritates the shit out of me, but it does. It irritates me. I'm like, I am just here to post on my social media. I'm not here to date. I'm not here to look for love. Just let me post. Just let me put the pictures. Just let me post about the business. Let me do the Black Voices Today live chat. Let me just do that. I'm not trying to engage like that on here. I'm not. And so it irritates me. And maybe it irritates me because I know that it probably will end up not being someone I want to talk to, or it'll go left, or it's a bot, or it's just some random weirdo, And I should have just said, "No, I hate that. I hate when you slide in my DMs." No, but I didn't. And just, it was one word responses, and he wasn't getting the hint. But it's not up to him to read my mind. I was responsible for saying, "No, thank you. Have a nice day." And when he made a joke that I didn't find funny, we don't know each other at all. You're making a joke that is a little weird and sort of some innuendo in there. And I'm like, And my response was curt and to the point. And then his response, which is typical from men who are weak, was to make a personal attack. "Are you single because you're mean?" was his response to me. And mine was, depends on who you ask. That was my response. And it ended with me just saying, I'm at a point and a stage where I don't have to pretend. And if I didn't find it funny, I'm not going to laugh or pretend, be coy and pretend I find that funny. And his response was LOL, which is what weak men do when they cannot engage in real conversation. And I guess maybe women too, but we can find words. But men, from previous experience, tend to go on a personal attack, little digs, when you shut them down. I guess we can do that too. Let me not put us on this big pedestal like we're just so innocent. But it just was annoying. It was not the end of the world, but I'm like, that was a waste of my time, energy, and space. And I've done it probably with business when I'm like, nope. On LinkedIn, I don't want to connect with your Bitcoin, whatever thing. I'm not interested in doing that over LinkedIn. What you're trying to sell, I already know I don't want to buy. But, entertain the conversation anyway. And then it goes to a place where you're like, no, I'm not interested. So why do we do that? Or why do I do that? And for those of you who do that, why? Why is that a thing for us? Is it that we just, still that societal thing that says be sweet, be nice, be cordial, 9,000 memes about be nice. You never know what somebody else is going through. Well, you never know who you're dealing with. You could be dealing with a serial killer. Who knows? Can I just be myself? My curt, direct, to the point self, my non-smiling today self, because I don't feel like it self. And maintain and protect my boundaries. This is a lesson learned from here on out. I've ignored some. I'm going to just do what my gut says and not feel like I need to be nice or entertain. Where does not listening to our gut come from? Previous trauma experiences. When something happened, betrayal, does that keep us from really trusting our gut just in case I'm wrong? But when everything in you is screaming, no, you're not wrong. What you are sensing, whatever this feeling is appropriate because it's appropriate for you. It is what you are feeling. Does that come from not getting our feelings validated as children, that ignoring our gut and letting down our boundaries when we shouldn't? Does that come from not feeling like we're enough or we're good enough to make those kind of decisions? Not feeling worthy to just let something go. I'm almost 50. Let me just entertain this just in case. I don't want to do just in case anymore. I want to do the absolute best. What a queen deserves. What someone who has worked as hard as I have, as you have, maybe raised children on your own like I have, who's put in hours, blood, sweat, and tears to create an organization, a nonprofit, a company, who is just a human being that just wants to be treated well and not have to do anything that sucks the life and energy out of you or takes away from your day. Getting to just the root, because it is deeper. When you realize that you're sort of in a just in case, maybe let me see mode, that is not good. So we backtrack, assess it all, and say, you know what? Nope, no more of this. That's when I have to start holding myself accountable. However you do that, let's start holding ourselves accountable for paying attention to our gut and upholding the boundaries that we put in place. Let's do what we say we're going to do. And not worry so much about looking like you're not a nice person, looking like some kind of villain. As much as so many of us say we're strong with this, I think we let a lot of stuff in. I read so many posts and I'm like, somewhere we aren't all we say we are, or we're not doing everything we say we're doing. We're not as sassy and to the point and shut them down as we like to think or say or post. So how do we get to that point where we become who we say we are and we listen and trust our gut? Just keep making decisions. Keep ignoring, blocking, saying no, and being okay and letting it go. There's some real freedom in freeing your mind from stewing thoughts, from negative thoughts, from these what if thoughts. I've been doing that lately, and it is revolutionary. When you let go of the what if, I should have, just in case, and you start operating in your wholeness, and whatever faith you have, when you really start doing it, it's a totally different space you walk into. You say, nope, I am not going to let those woulda, coulda, shouldas, or maybe I should, grip me and take over and let me go down a path that I don't want to go down. To just say, stop. Don't do it, Raquel. Back it up. Don't do it, girl. And then also making sure that we're getting our hearts healed, our hearts are recovering from whatever happened, betrayal, trauma, abuse, hurts. Yes, sexual trauma can skew our decision-making skills still. Some triggers still exist. Some PTSD. I wonder sometimes if we just... I'm what you would call a daddyless daughter. I had my daddy, was around until I was 9, and then he cut out. So I think some of that still lingers, those attachment issues and those sort of let me not let him go issues still linger. I need to chase. I need to make sure that I'm accepting, that I don't push somebody away. Ooh, did I just do therapy on myself recording this podcast? Maybe that's it. Still, those abandonment issues from a father who was gone. And even though I had a strong mom, I didn't go down all these paths, I guess, that I could have without judgment of anybody else. But I've done a lot in my life, but I never blamed it on that. But I think it really does leave us with this, not just emptiness, but this longing still, even if it's just minute, even if it's getting healed and recovering from all that, I think some of that's still left in there. That just in case. I don't want him to get away. So let me let this guard and this boundary down, because maybe we still blame ourselves for that. We're still in blame mode, and we shouldn't be, because a parent who leaves makes that choice. A spouse who leaves makes that choice. unless we're abusive as the other spouse. So it's time to really look and pinpoint why we let these boundaries down, why we ignore our own gut, our own intuition. Let's get to the heart of it so we can be full of life, joy, and peace. Your peace of mind is so vital. When you don't have it, life is a mess. So let's get to the good stuff. And what are your boundaries? Like, what are your non-negotiables? Like, nope, I won't do that. That's not allowed. You can't do that. Getting all that together, knowing it for sure. And still being lovable and loving. I hope this podcast has illuminated some things. It's a shorter one, I know, but quick and to the point. Join us next week as we break down sexuality and disparities and how over-sexualization of communities of color, women of color, impacts us. It's going to be a great talk. I'm going to be joined by Lene Herrera, one of my former interns. It'll be a lively discussion. Join us next week and take care. This has been the Black Voices Today Confidential Podcast, brought to you by Raquel Produces Productions.